Hello and welcome. In this lab, I'll demonstrate how to configure PAP or Password Authentication Protocol across serial links using PPP Encapculation. In a previous lab, I had configured PPP Encapsulation and enable CHAP authentication. So this is part 2, which I talk about PAP authentication. So I'm going to be configuring the PAP authentication on serial link 031 on router 0 and router 1. This lab has already been pre-configured with host name, IP addresses on the serial link 030 and PPP with CHAP on serial 030. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the configurations with IP address and PAP or PAP authentication on serial link 031. So let's start with router 0. And I've already created a username which we will need for this lab, and it's very similar to our previous lab, which you can find in my YouTube channel. The lab is entitled PPP Encapsulation with CHAP authentication. So to configure the PAP, I'm going to go ahead and make this configuration on the serial interface 031. So interface serial 0/3/1. So I'll be using IP address of 192.168.1.1, and I'll be using a /30 subnet mask, which should be 255.255.255.252. Okay. No shut command. I'll go to router 1 and I'll make the same changes. So interface serial 0/3/0/1. Give it an IP address of 192.168.1.2. 252. Now I'll go ahead and do a no shut command, and we see it straight away that the interface changes to up, and I should be able to ping my neighbor, which is ping 192.168.1.1, and I'm getting a reply. Now the next configuration is I have to change the encapsulation from HDLC to PPP. If I run the command do show interface serial 0/3/1, you will see that I'm running an encapsulation of HDLC. So the first thing is I need to change that. So encapsulation PPP, and now I will enable the authentications. So the command is PPP authentication, and here I have two choices, PAP and CHAP. So now I'll be choosing PAP, and there's another command that I need to run, which is PPP PAP, and if I do a question mark here, the only option I have is the sent username. So sent username, and this here now will be the host name of this router. So the host name of this router is router 1. So router 1, and now I have to set a password. And I'll call it Cisco. So those are the two commands I need. So the first command is PPP Authentication PAP, and PPP PAP sent username router 1 password Cisco. Now I'll go to the router on the left, or router 0, and I'll make the same configuration. Now you notice that once I made those changes on router 1, the state of the interface went down. So do show IP interface brief will show that my interface, expand this. So my interface is administratively up, but the protocol is down, and that is because I have to make the same configuration of changing the encapsulation method and then enabling PAP authentication. So encapsulation is PPP, and PPP authentication method will be PAP, and then PPP PAP sent username, and now the sent username will be the host name of this router, which is router 0. So router 0, and I have to set a password, and I'll use Cisco as I did on the other router. Now this will take about a minute or less for the changes to replicate between the two routers. So I'm gonna force some packets between them by just sending a ping test. So ping 192.168.1.2, that's the neighboring router. So let's wait and see what happens here. It normally takes about 30 seconds to a minute. Okay, so now I got a message that the protocol came back up. I'm gonna go ahead and ping again. The first ping failed, so it should be working now. Okay, so I received the message on my router that the interface has come back up. Now I can go ahead and ping from router 1. I can ping the neighbor, which is 192.168.1.1, and I'm receiving a ping. Now to recap what I've done, I'll issue the command showrun, and we will have a look at the configurations that I've done on the two routers. Okay, so just so that we are comparing. Okay, and what I'm looking for is the configurations on the serial interface, serial 031. So on the router on my left, which is router 0, I can see that the IP address has been set with the subnet mask of a /30. My encapsulation is PPP. The authentication has been set to PAP, and the sent username is router 0, which is the host name of this router, with the password of Cisco. And if I look to the router on my left, which is router 1, and make a comparison of the configurations on the same interface, 0031, the only difference in the configuration is the sent username is the host name of this router itself. So that brings me to the end of this lab. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe and give it a thumbs up.